This is my post-literature review presentation, Attrition in Novice Teachers. This is my presentation contents. I'm going to kind of just go over the background, definition, theories, a visual of the key ideas, which is really kind of where the presentation, where the literature review itself kind of got its format. Then I'm going to go through each of the literature review questions and their findings, give you some conclusions, gaps in the literature, and then a future research proposal. And then, of course, at the very end, all of the references. So the background information on this particular subject area. Compulsory education began in the 1920s, which essentially means that every individual who is under the age of 18 has to go to school. Okay. And the foundation of the educational system itself, specifically compulsory education, are of course the teachers. You can't have somebody go to school and not give them an adequate teacher to be able to teach them the foundational skills for student success, which are reading, writing, mathematical skills, sometimes life skills for those of us teachers out there that know that that's what our students need. But at the heart of the educational system are capable, dedicated teachers who are effective and efficient within the classroom setting. This brings us to our problem. We have to have those capable, dedicated, efficient teachers in the classroom. However, 20 to 50% of novice teachers leave within the first 5 years of teaching. Additionally, annually, both novice and veteran teachers, about 15% leave the profession. And these are for reasons other than retirement. That means that fiscally, the United States spends $2 billion every year towards finding, hiring, and training teachers. That's a lot of money that could potentially be put back into the classroom setting. And, of course, student achievement suffers if there aren't competent teachers. We know that as time goes on, the more effective a teacher is going to be because they understand the situations of being a classroom teacher and they know the content well. So the whole problem is that we have a numerous amount of teachers that leave every single year. So with this particular problem, there have been a number of solutions that they've created to help combat attrition rates. The main one are induction programs, which are a way for novice teachers in the profession to transition smoothly from their teacher preparation programs into being an actual classroom teacher. A big giant part of those induction programs is generally mentorship, which is a relationship in which the willingness to mutually learn, compatibility, and instructional and emotional supports are all present. Essentially, mentorship is usually between a novice teacher and a veteran teacher, in which the veteran teacher helps the novice teacher learn more about the roles and responsibilities of being a teacher and how to deal with the day-to-day situations they will be facing. Protective factors are skills, strategies, or resources that help when dealing with stressful events. Now, a big reason that people are leaving, that these novice teachers leave the profession, is due to things called role stressors, which means they don't know how to deal with the day-to-day situations they will be facing. And protective factors are a part of the solution, specifically resilience, which is the interaction between the internal assets with that of the external environment, in which an individual can choose to engage and adapt, or disengage and stay rigid. Essentially, resilience is a fight or flight kind of thing. So when a teacher is facing a stressor, they can choose to either adapt and to change their style or to learn, or to just disengage, which usually leads to things like burnout and then attrition. So the purpose and questions for this literature review were essentially to examine if mentorship as a key component of induction helps to nourish resilience factors that are so important for novice teachers. There are three primary questions that build on one another. The first is, what are some areas of need for further research in current literature in terms of induction or preparation programs that integrate mentorship? Are these particular programs that have mentorship really, really effective and necessary? And then, how do resilience and other protective factors contribute to a novice teacher being more capable of dealing with the job itself? So you can see that they kind of build on one another. One is about preparation programs, induction, mentorship, and one is about resilience and other protective factors, really helping them deal with the stressors of the job. They really all come together in that final question. What's the relationship between mentorship as a part of induction and resilience as deemed by current literature? How can mentorship help to nourish resilience factors in novice teachers? Some key definitions. A novice teacher is somebody who's in the first 5 years of the teaching profession. Generally, induction occurs within year 1 and 2 of teaching. Attrition is where somebody gets so worn down that they just end up leaving a situation. In this case, attrition is when novice teachers just feel like they're not being effective, and so they leave the classroom altogether. Role stressors are the strain, behaviors, and abilities associated with a particular job. Burnout is just exhaustion of emotional resources, feelings of negativity towards others, and you just do not feel accomplished. Induction, like I said earlier, is the process or actions of introducing someone to a new position or organization. Mentorship, which has already been defined for you, is that relationship that's shared and supportive from veteran teachers towards novice teachers and vice versa. Protective factors and resilience have also already been discussed as a key solution. And then concrete support is a socialization process in which a mentor, generally a veteran teacher, helps support a novice teacher in both task and emotion. Now here's a visual of the key ideas. As you can see, we have the role, novice teachers, and that essentially means their individual characteristics, and the support programs that have been put into place, such as protective factors, ways to nourish those, and induction programs. Now, where they interact, you're going to see that there are different parts of the literature review that are discussed. So between role and support programs is really to help teacher efficiency, effectiveness, and to lessen burnout. And between the novice teachers, their characteristics, and the support programs is to keep them, to make sure that they have retention, as well as that's where you find induction. It's a support to help the characteristics of the novice teachers be successful. Between the role and the novice teachers themselves is going to be engagement, motivation, and job satisfaction. Where they all intersect are the resilience and the mentorship, which is why it's so important to understand that key relationship. A couple key theories are resilience theory, retention and motivation theory, and situational leadership. Resilience theory essentially is the ability to adapt. Retention and motivation is the way that if somebody's motivated, they will be retained. And then situational leadership focuses on coaching as an aspect in which an individual is highly directive and has supportive behaviors. They're able to easily adapt, which is such a big part of resilience. Some of the key findings from question 1 is that induction programs do help novice teachers transition. It does indeed help them adapt physically and emotionally to their new roles. That mentorship is a key support in induction programs that has been found to be extremely helpful. That mentorship as helpfulness can lead to job satisfaction, motivation, and engagement. The gap in this particular question is that the reasoning behind why mentorship is necessary as a necessary aspect of induction programs has not been explored. Question's findings are that protective factors do give novice teachers skills, strategies, and resources they need when dealing with role stressors. Protective factors include concrete support, social connections, and resilience, and they also positively influence retention, which means those protective factors keep teachers in the career. Concrete supports and social connections are made during induction, specifically in the form of mentorship. Concrete supports and engagement have been linked to an increase in resilience or the way stressful situations are handled. The gap in this particular question is that resilience gives a novice teacher the ability to deal with role stressors. However, it's not clear as to how specifically resilience is created or nourished. That third research question are that concrete support, so some of the findings, concrete support systems such as mentorship help create resilience in novice teachers. Induction programs that use mentorship really help support personal and professional development. Resilience as a construct can be nourished in others. Now, the big giant gap is that what relationship between mentorship and resilience specifically haven't been examined. We're not quite sure what that relationship looks like. Some of the conclusions are that the phenomenon of novice teacher attrition is being combated through induction programs. The most successful induction programs use mentorship. But what components of mentorship help lessen attrition directly? The second question, protective factors are necessary for novice teachers to prevent burnout and eventually attrition. Now, these factors include concrete support, social interactions, and resilience. Another of the conclusions are that resilience gives novice teachers the needed skills to deal with the transition into their new role. Mentorship, as used as a concrete support, helps novices become more effective teachers. Our question here is, does mentorship give novice teachers support, which in turn increases these protective factors? Our question 3 conclusions is that there's seemingly no research that discusses if mentors help novices gain protective factors such as resilience, which are needed for success in the teaching field. And if resilience can be nourished, how is it that mentors may be the ones nourishing and increasing these resilience factors? What aspects of mentorship may help increase resilience factors in novice teachers? To really break it down, let's look at some of the gaps in the literature. So, novice teacher attrition is a serious problem that must be addressed. Induction programs help to decrease attrition, and mentorship as a key component of induction programs has been shown to be very beneficial. Additionally, we know that protective factors such as resilience can be nourished in individuals and are also a key way to keep novice teachers in the position of a teacher job. So, the main question is, what aspects of mentorship may help increase resilience factors in novice teachers? Future research proposal. All of this information found through the literature and the current research out there has led to the research question. What aspects of mentorship as a cornerstone of induction helps nourish resilience factors in novice teachers? We know that induction and mentorship are essential to help lower attrition rates in novice teachers. And we also know that resilient factors are not only beneficial, but essential for teachers to know and be able to navigate the role stressors of their new career. So, what is the relationship between the two? Does mentorship help create these resilience factors? This is the future research proposal. It would be a qualitative study that conducted interviews from both third-year teachers who went through an induction program with and without a mentor. That would really let us know, hey, is it just resilience factors seen in teachers who had a mentor? Or do we see them in both teachers with and without a mentor? And then we can further delve a little deeper and to inquire as to what components of mentorship really help to nourish the resilience. It is essential that we look into further ways to prevent and further lower the attrition rates in novice teachers to make sure that our educational system is founded on capable, dedicated, professional, and effective teachers in the classroom. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Here are some of my reference slides. As you can see, there are quite a few people who have talked about both resilience and/or mentorship and induction. However, once again, there has still not been any research as to whether mentorship helps to create these resilience factors. Once again, I thank you very much. This class was absolutely wonderful.